Good evening if you are here in the United States. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be tuning in from. My name is Linda Lovelace, and I am with you this evening. I'm a Napoleon Hill Institute coach. So excited to say that. I'm going to share a little bit about my journey, and then I'm going to bring up the beautiful Jessica Campbell as well, who is joining me tonight to share a little bit about her story. And then we're going to share why we're here and what we're about to launch that we are so excited about with the Women's Collective. So we're so thrilled that you are here with us. And so again, I started my journey as an entrepreneur my entire life, raising my three children. I turned my hobby of sewing into a business so that I could stay home and raise my three children. And I remember burning the midnight oil night after night and saying, one night just bawling and saying, God, there must be more to life than this. This isn't working. And I knew I didn't want to be sitting in the same place 5 years from that point. And so I decided to do a beauty pageant of all things at age 40, which was my debut out of the basement, so to speak. And then I was introduced to what I'm currently doing now for 30 years is a network marketing company, and built that to the top 1% of the company and have a global business there. And then I felt like, again, a holy discontent. It was during the pandemic when I had some side swipes that happened in my life, and lost my mom to cancer. And then a year later, my sister, my best friend, and then really lost myself and really felt like I didn't know who I was. And I remember seeing a couple of gals on my team, Amy and Molly, who I saw a shift in. And I thought, what are those girls up to? And then I saw something come across my feed that said Sisters Next Door. And it pulled at my heartstrings because my sister and I said that we were going to do something together. And so I reached out to them and I said, what are you girls up to? And I found that they went through the Napoleon Hill Institute that had basically founders at the very, very beginning. And I thought, oh my goodness, Napoleon Hill. My dad played being a pastor and raising 7 children. He was into a lot of personal growth and development. And he played in the background cassette tapes of Napoleon Hill, Dale Carnegie, Earl Nightingale. And I remember rolling my eyes and saying, Dad, why do we need to listen to these old men? Well, I now know what he was instilling in us, and so grateful for that. And so I jumped in with both feet. I was very excited. And so Think and Grow Rich, if you have not read this, it is a must read because it's life-changing and the principles never change. And so that's a little bit about how I came into Napoleon Hill Institute, and now excited to lock arms with the women so that we can be the difference in the world that needs to happen. Because we believe that if we can rise up together as women, we can change the world. And so I'm going to bring Jessica up so that she can share a little bit about her story, and then we'll show you what this is all about. Jessica?
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for calling in tonight. I'm Jessica Campbell, and I too am a certified coach with Napoleon Hill Institute. And it has just been such a phenomenal ride. I spent many of my years working in the world of project management and human resources. And, it got to a point where I'm like, I just don't know if I want to do this like the rest of my working years. And so, still I stuck it out. And then I ran into some health issues, and the nasty C word, cancer, got me a couple times. And I just felt like the, bottom was just coming out, and that I was falling, and I was just losing my grounding. And it was a very uncomfortable place for me to be. And, they say that being uncomfortable is when you grow. And it took me a while to see that because I went through a lot of fear. I've always been a Christian, I've always had faith on my side, but I let fear take over. And long and behold, I received a text one evening and received an invite to join a group of women on a noon phone call meeting. And I didn't have a voice because I had to have surgery, and it took weeks, months for my voice to come back. But I still called and just listened to these other women and what they were doing. And it really opened my eyes, and it really pulled at my heart. And I don't know if you've ever gotten that feeling where that tug or in your gut, it's like, I should do this, but you don't do it. Well, I did do it, and I did follow through with it, and it has changed my life. So I went to an event in Omaha, and the sisters next door were putting it on. And I knew right then and there, and that was the first time I met Linda also. And I knew that this is where I'm supposed to be. And so I took action, and I've just been going forward with it ever since. And it's been the first time in my life where I have been with women and just having that support from each other. It's just been phenomenal. So if you are looking for a community, if you're feeling stuck, this is the place to be.
Thank you, Jessica. I am so grateful that you found your voice again. I remember that when you had no voice and you said yes to you, and the transformation of doing this work is just been phenomenal to watch. And so again, that's what we're seeing over and over and over again with what the work that we're doing here, and we want to share it with the world. And so Think and Grow Rich Women's Collective is, standing in your confidence. We're all called to something. We can feel that pull, that tug. And so the Confident and Called is what we're calling it. It's a 6-week identity upgrade for women that are ready to lead, ready to step in and be more of who they are. And so it launches September 6th, and which is right around the corner. So we're so excited. And we'll go on to the next slide here. So the Women's Collective is a program outside of our regular NHI program. So we have other programs within that, like the Twilight Club and the Lions Club. So this is one that is a standalone, just focused on women, and it's rooted in the principles of Think and Grow Rich, which are timeless. It's focused on identity. Again, who are we, and what are we here to do and be? Not the doing so much, but who are we here to be more of? And so working on the desire of our hearts, our faith, wealth, and the legacy for generations, generations to come. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And for women who are ready to lead themselves and others into more. And so, Jessica, I'm going to have you take the next slide.
Sure. Just hearing you speak, Linda, oh gosh, it just warms my heart. And that heartbeat is just increasing because I'm just so excited for this and for everybody that joins us. But, for women who know, that you are meant for more, but maybe you don't know what to do to move forward. If you're feeling tired, and I said the word earlier about fear, but if you're just kind of wore out from the hustle and the grind, and you're second guessing what are you doing with your life, this is the time for you to step up. This is the time to find the new you, the new her, and give yourself that upgrade. The mindset is just one of the most important things to get you through life. And then knowing who you are and knowing what you want. Um, so I'm hoping that you are craving that clarity, as I do every day. But not only that, but our purpose, and let's get you in so you can make sure that you have that aligned action with us.
So, if you've ever felt sick and tired of being sick and tired, it's time for a change. And if you don't change, then change won't happen. So, this is the course overview that we're so excited about. So, the first week is about an identity upgrade. So, it'll be about your self image and changing those paradigms that that we've let define us for way too long, and our internal dialogue. And I love what Napoleon Hill talks about is the inner audience that we keep talking to. Who is that inner audience? And in week 2, we're going to be talking about decision and desire. Again, what are the desires of your heart, and clarity around that, and your calling. What is that calling? And making bold decisions around that. And then week 3, powerful, faith over fear. So many, Napoleon Hill talks about 6 ghosts of fear. And so how do we overcome those fears? And even in the Bible, the scripture has 350 times, which is that says fear not, 350 times. So we have to be reminded every single day to fear not. Okay, so we're not alone in that. So, learning how to tap into the faith rather than the fear, because we cannot hold both in our mind, and then surrendering to that, and then about faith and releasing resistance to that. And then week 4, bold action. We are taking bold action, inspired action versus hustle. How many of us have been in the hustle and grind, and we're just, again, sick and tired of being there and feeling burned out? And the balance between the feminine and the masculine energy, because we know the pendulum has, been swung too far in one direction or another, and it needs to be balanced. And so that's going to be a powerful class to understand that. And then week 5 is wealth frequency, learning to hang out in the penthouse, the penthouse mindset. The view is very clear in the penthouse. And so we're going to be talking about tithing and creating abundance in our life, because a lot of the noise in our head is what we were conditioned to believe in our younger years that is not truth. And so how can, again, we change the paradigms and start creating more wealth? And wealth is a frequency. So really understanding how that works is going to be powerful. And then week 6, what legacy are we leaving? So legacy leadership, stepping into that leader. And I remember being at my dad's bedside and him squeezing my hand before he passed. And he said, "Linda, take them all to the top with you." And in that moment, I thought, what legacy am I leaving for generations to come that is making an impact after I'm gone? And so I went home and built my business to a whole new level, because we want to multiply and duplicate for generations yet not born. And so how do we do that? So multiplying this message. I mean, again, Think and Grow Rich, my dad ingrained in me when I was young, and here I am being a voice for it many years later, almost 7 decades later. It's like, wow. And then, so you never know. Remember, whatever we ask for comes back. So what have you been asking for lately? So anyway, creating rooms at the top. So again, realizing what rooms you're in. And sometimes that realization, we develop an understanding of maybe we need to be in a new room. And what does that look like? So, moving on to the next slide. And I'll let you take this one, Jessica.
Very good. I just want to add real quickly about the book, The Think and Grow Rich. I was introduced to that book about 30 years ago, and I read it, but I didn't study it. And I do often think about that. What if I would have read that and really studied it and applied it decades ago, and to think of where I would be today? And I can't do anything about it, but I sure can do it right now and moving forward. So I just had to throw that in there because it's a game changer. It's a lifesaver. But regarding the overview for our schedule, again, so we are launching this on Saturday, September 6th, and it will be at 8 a.m. Central Time. And it will be a 6 week with live weekly Zoom sessions. And if you are unable to make it at that time, there will be replays available as it will be recorded. And then during the week on Wednesdays, we will have where we meet with our cohort groups. And so everybody will meet on the Saturday and then have cohorts on Wednesdays. And that Saturday morning, it's just going to be like an open discussion about, what we're covering. And it will be in a very intimate community setting. So again, if you're looking for a community, this is the place to be. But you will be guided to see where you are and to see you long term in the community. But there will be high touch support available and weekly exercises and the group cohorts.
Absolutely. Community is so important. And why now? So, if you've been waiting for a sign, you don't have to wait anymore. I always say if you've been praying for something or asking for something and you're watching this and it's resonating with you, then this is your sign. You don't need to be more to start. This is where we learn and grow together. You just need to say yes to yourself and be in this safe, healthy community together to grow together. And nothing changes until you do. So that's such a powerful statement. What do you need to change in your life to move forward with what you know you are called for? So this is the time, and this is your permission slip to step into your next level. So Jessica?
So, yep, what you will walk away with, you will have a very clear identity and a renewed confidence. And the confidence that I have gained since starting this venture, it's absolutely priceless. Um, but your mindset, you'll find that it truly is rooted in possibility, and you'll be seeing what your purpose is, and you will be at a different wealth frequency. Again, phenomenal. Um, but fear won't even be in existence after this. It's going to be that fear is going to be turned into faith, and you will find yourself taking bold action. Um, and the paradigms removed, the self sabotage. We know that we are our worst enemy, but again, the self sabotage, you're going to be seeing that go by the wayside also. But the community, again, the sisterhood, it's just so powerful to know that there is somebody that you can lean in on or give them a call um, and just talk through whatever. But it's just, I'm just so incredibly grateful for this group. And again, as previously said about the legacy that you could leave, it's just never ending. So I'm just gratefulness. That's all I can think about this whole adventure. And never did I think I was an entrepreneur, but it's unbelievable the things that I have discovered about myself with finding my identity again.
Absolutely. And the ripple that happens because of one yes. Okay, that's next slide. So how do you enroll? So if you would like to enroll, reach out to the Women's Collective, any of us coaches, or email Jessica Shipley at NapoleonHillInstitute.com. Make sure that you get the spelling right. Some people have a challenge with Napoleon, so make sure that you get that spelled right. And you're not just signing up for a course, you're stepping into who you were created to be. How exciting is that? Who are you? Because a lot of times we forget along the journey, we get so busy with our lives that we have just forgotten who we are. So, this is a place, again, a safe place, healthy place to remember who she is and step into her and walk in that beauty and greatness of your uniqueness. We're all so different. Again, we don't have to be the same, but who are we? A lot of times we are scrolling through social media and comparing ourselves. And how is that serving us? So, anyway, we'll go to the next slide.
And the the two words here, the investment, because that's exactly what this is. This is an investment in you. And it's something that no one can take it away from you. You think about all the money you could easily spend on Amazon and have 20 packages lined up in your corner that you don't even touch, and they're not serving a purpose. But this investment in you, priceless. But the 6 weeks that we've talked about, it's for $995. Again, you'll have the live weekly coaching sessions via Zoom. This will also include the course materials and workbook, and a lifetime access to the self-confidence camp, which is digital assets. And I've gone through that a couple of times, repeat them, because they're just so good. And you hear something different as you re-listen to it. But access to the self-discipline camp morning calls, and we have those at 5:30 a.m. Central Time, and they're on a Zoom. You don't have to have your cameras on, but it is great to see people every day. And then also access to the community of women in mentorship. So it's a great way to network and meet new people, but truly to define who you are and your purpose, and show you ways on how you can serve.
Yes, and the lifetime access to the self-confidence camp is priceless. $1,500 value right there that you're getting. And again, like Jessica said, we can listen to those over and over and over and hear something new and different every single time. And I love the word immersive, because we're immersing into this material to really let it get in. It's not so many times we don't take the action and we don't let it get in enough. We go on to the next book, and the next book in itself, shelf help becomes, rather than really truly helping us get better. And so if you were to go register tonight, you would have access to the self-confidence camp immediately. So you can get started before even September 6th rolls around. So that's huge value. And like Napoleon Hill says, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And such a powerful statement, because the power of our mind, and what are we believing? So we just want to say thank you for joining us tonight. And we would encourage you to jump in with us and be a part of this community and create a ripple for generations to come. And join us. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Jessica?
Just that I hope that you invest in you and look forward to meeting you all.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.